That was a really silly idea, Emma. It's going really well. That's lovely and great, but can you wait a minute? I've got cucumbers honestly coming out my ears. Was it worth it? I don't know. Hello everyone, welcome back to a new allotment vlog. If this is your first time here, my name's Emma. This is one half of my allotment and this is my shed. I'm quite tired today, I'm not gonna lie. We did a lot of socialising yesterday. God, my fringe is not cooperating, let's all ignore that, including me. I'll try not to touch it, I know that annoys you. We did a lot of socialising yesterday. We had our allotment summer barbecue thing and a raffle, which went actually very well. That was a good day. But then Sam also had a gig in the evening, so we had to leave that to go to the gig. So we did a lot of socialising. So even though we were at the allotment yesterday, we actually didn't do any allotmenting. We just drank wine, had some burgers, did a raffle. So I've come back today to do some actual allotmenting. Imagine that. So we're here. We've got a few things to get on with, but the main premise of today is going to be wedding flowers. If you don't know, I'm getting married in literally 2 months. Scary. And I'm sillily decided to grow my own flowers. That was a really silly idea, Emma. Past Emma. Talking to you, that was silly. But we're in the depths of it now, so we're just carrying on. Anyway, I've been hoarding flowers at home. Some of them I've been hoarding for a while and just not brought them, and then some of them were a panic resow after some things went dodgy at the allotment. And I've got some more dahlias, so there's a lot of planting. My car was full, essentially. My car was full. So some things I'm not sure if they're going to grow in time because I just panic sowed them because I wasn't sure I had enough. So I did that thing like before you go on holiday, you just panic buy anyway, I did that, but with sowing seeds. And then a few things have just been a bit slow to get going, but now it's now or never. You got to go out, you got to grow. I can't look after my greenhouse forever, it's just not feasible. So we're going to get them outside. I'm panicking. Don't know if you can tell. Growing your own flowers, no joke. No one told me this. I thought it'd be easy breezy. No. So this is going to be a very wedding flower themed video, although we do have some veg to harvest, so I don't know, a bit of both today. But yeah, it's going to be mostly wedding flowers, which is exciting. It'll give me a chance to catch up on how it's going. It's going really well. No, I'll probably talk as I'm planting out and we can have a bit of a heart-to-heart about how it's going. But yeah, I can't faff about for too long because I need to get planting because there's a hell of a lot of stuff to go out. So let's get on with it. I'm going to get my headphones, so we'll do a few time lapses. I'll try and talk to you as much as I can, but it does need to be a bit of a head down, get on with it day. Let's rock and roll. So while we're here, let's talk how I'm feeling about my wedding flowers and how it's going. Let's all just say I was a little bit naive going forward with this because I'd grown some flowers last year and they did quite well, and you know, I just sort of thought, oh, I can upscale that'll be fine, chuck a few more dahlias in, they'll grow great, it'll be fine. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Little did I know that the age-old rule of sod's law is that if you're actually trying to grow flowers for a reason, they're not going to grow for you. So we've had some issues. I think I had about maybe a 60% success rate with my dahlias, coming up and growing and not having any sort of illness or whatever, which is not bad. I don't think that's bad. I think some other plants were just really slow to get going. I don't know if I had an issue with some compost. I thought I bought I did buy posh compost, but I think a few people have been having issues with that compost this year, so that set me back a little bit. And I wasn't quick enough to respond. I think that's what I've learned, is that if something's not growing, you really need to get on it and replant it, because as soon as I replanted them, they've grown and they've been fine, but obviously I did that a little bit too late with some things, so now I'm not sure I'm going to have all the flowers I'd planned to. But I've also learned to be a little bit more go with the flow, I would say. You know, I had great plans to have all these dahlias, and I'm just doing a bit of weeding before I start planting. Do all these dahlias and they were all going to be amazing and huge, and I'd grown dahlias before, so, you know, I wasn't worried. But yeah, it just, I've now got to just go with whatever plants grow, basically. The plans have gone out the window, and I'm just going with whatever grows. That's going to be my wedding flowers, whatever grows. And I've spoken to Florist Julie, and she's assured me that anything I desperately want that sort of hasn't grown, we can get from a supplier. So, you know, she's got the connections for that. So I'm not too worried. But yeah, the dahlias are not as much of a roaring success as I kind of hoped they'd be. But the other things, and I will show you the other things. I mean, you'll have seen a few in my tour video that I did last. But the other flowers are really doing well. So even though the dahlias are not doing the best, which is the kind of showstopper pieces I wanted, the other flowers are doing better than I thought. So it's kind of like one or the other. But yeah, overall, I think we're still in a good place. What I'm worried about now is keeping things blooming till September, because a few things have started blooming. I'm like, that's lovely and great, but can you wait a minute? Because I'm not ready for you yet. Not ready for you. And things like the cosmos, I know will just keep going as long as I keep deadheading, which I have been really on top of. I know they will just keep going. But like the gypsophilia is in bloom, the gladioli oregana, they're stunning and beautiful and wonderful flowers, but I was being quite optimistic when I thought they'd last till September. They're in full bloom right now, which is not ideal. But yeah, I've just got to keep on top of deadheading and keep making sure they're well watered and everything to make sure they last until September, because 8 weeks away feels like, in planning terms, feels like not long away at all. But in terms of keeping your flowers flowering terms, it feels like quite a long way away. So it's been a big learning process, I would say. And if someone asks me to grow their wedding flowers next year, it's going to be a resounding no. It's going to be a no, because at least I am in control, and, you know, I've picked the colours for my wedding, so our colour scheme for the wedding is green, so that any flowers will match. That was purposeful. But if someone had like specific things they wanted, oh my god, I couldn't do it. Anyway, that's sort of the update on how we're getting on with the wedding flowers. I'm going to plant these. In here I've got Love Lies Bleeding, Amaranthus, Love Lies Bleeding. This is one of the things I had to re-sow, because I did sow them in like March, but they just didn't get going, didn't do anything. And same with marigolds and calendula. I think I had a dodgy batch of compost, but these have only been planted like 3 weeks and they're massive already. So I'm going to plant them in this bed. I have purposefully kept a few beds on my allotment clear for times such as this, where I've got like unexpected plantings. So thankfully I've kept this bed clear. It's been mulched, just needs a bit more weeding, and then I can plant these straight in. And yeah, that's something I've had to think about as well this year. Obviously with the wedding flowers, I can't just fill my plot up with veg. I've had to be mindful about how much veg I'm planting. So I mean, I do think we've got enough veg, because most things have done well, but I've not been able to really fill the plot with veg like I did last year, because I've had to leave room for flowers. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to put my headphones in, and I'm going to get down and I'm going to get this bed planted. So enjoy some nice time-lapsey music. What should we go with? I'm feeling heavy rock. It's feels like a heavy rock day when I've got stuff to do and got stuff to get on with. I can't have any twiddly diddly nicey wicey. Ooh, bit of drum and bass. Yeah, let's go with that. Bit of dance. That'll do it. Okie dokie, so we've planted marigolds, calendula and amaranthus in this bed, and then I had 2 dahlias from seed, but I can't plant dahlias in this bed because it had gall last year, so I've planted them just in here where I've got a little bit of space. I did get caught up doing a bit of, oh my god, there's a mouse. I've just seen a mouse run across that plot. Oh, I quite like mice. I know they're pain to gardeners, but they're quite sweet. I've been weeding. I've sort of got caught up a bit with weeding because it's been really bad round here. The thistles are just insane. So yeah, you can see the chaos I've left behind me. But yeah, so this is turning into a bit of an accidental flower bed as well. It's quite nice. That dahlia in the middle is doing really well. And then I just chucked a few spares in here, but they've come up really nicely, so that's okay. I have got some more plants over there, so we'll go and plant those. I shouldn't have got distracted by weeding. I've wasted like a good half an hour, but sometimes pulling up weeds just feels good, you know, especially when it's quite messy. So right, we'll go over to one of the old death beds. So this bed did have some perennials in, but as we can see, died mysteriously. So we're going to pull these out. It's not hard. And we're going to give it a hoe over, and we're going to try and plant in this bed. I know because it has seen some death, it might not work, so I'm going to plant in a bunch of dahlias from seed and some straw flowers, of which I have dahlias and straw flowers elsewhere, and then we'll see what happens. But yes, first of all, I'm going to do the classic weed the bed you're working in, and try not get carried away with the weeding, and just see how we get on, see how much time we spend. It's shockingly not that weedy, which you'd think for a bed that's been abandoned for a good few months, but you know, we'll not question it. Right, let's start pulling these out. This bed is planted up with dahlias from seed, asters in the middle, and then I think these are straw flowers on this side. And in the interest of time, I skipped ahead and I've planted some stuff in what used to be the parsnip bath, but obviously the parsnips died a crispy death. So I've planted some celosia in the middle. Stand up, sir. I've just watered it, so they've gone a bit floppy. And some carnations from seed in there around the outside. I don't really expect anything from these guys. They were in the greenhouse a bit too long, so I think they're too far behind for flowers this year, but they can be perennial if you look after them, so maybe next year. But they're in anyway. It was just a spare place to put them. And I'm going to go and plant some dahlias in that bed. I've got mud on my finger. That bed, and I'll show you what I've done in that bed, because there's a few more dahlias than there were. Okay, so over here I had 3 dahlias. Obviously that bed had dahlias in, but they all had to be moved to the buckets and they're not looking so happy, so I don't know what happened with those. But these, you can see, that one in particular is really happy, really healthy. This one's got its first bloom on, which is delicious. This is Cornell Bronze, and that one is obviously very happy. It's got blooms on it, and that one is alive but was planted a bit later. So anyway, the moral of the story is I found a nice old man on Facebook who was selling plants and he was selling dahlias, and these were £3 each. So I picked up 4. They're a Heinz 57. I don't know what they are. He didn't know what they are. They are from tubers, not from seed. That one's yellow, that one's orange, but the other ones that hadn't bloomed yet, we don't know. So we're just sort of waiting to see what they come up like, but I felt like I needed to fill out on my dahlias because obviously there's quite a few there that haven't done so well. So I thought I'll stock back up. Popped those in the other day when I came because they were in like very small pots, so I thought, oh, I'll just get them out, and they seem to be acclimatising absolutely fine. And then obviously that one's doing very well. I'm very pleased with that bloom, it's beautiful. So I have got some more dahlias there from home. These are from tubers I've grown to plant in this bed, and this one, which is one that used to be at the allotment. I took it home to give it some TLC and now it's bounced back, so I'm going to replant it. I'm going to plant it in that gap there, and yeah, plant those in here, de-weed a little bit and get those in. And then I think that's it for these two beds. I've got to see how much time I've got left, because I do need to harvest some bits, so we'll see how much time I've got left, see if I can plant the other flowers, or I might do that off camera and just show you when they're in. But yeah, I'm going to get these dahlias in quickly. So dahlias are in, and the same nice man that grew the dahlias and sold them to me also had some Rudbeckia. So at the same time I planted the dahlias the other day, I pulled the sweet peas out of here because they were dead, and I planted the Rudbeckia in, and it seems very happy. So I've also got some Rudbeckia that I've grown myself that is way overdue going out, but you know, better late than never. So I'm going to put this in and have this as the Rudbeckia bed. This is on my dad and his partner's plot, my dad and Florist Julie's plot. So I'm going to try my best to plant these in. I don't know what varieties they are. I've lost track. Rudbeckia, Ammo something. I don't know, but they're all going to go in, and I'm sure they'll be happy. Better in there than just in pots in the greenhouse, I suppose. Right, let's get these in. The last flowers I have to plant out are these Achillea. Oh, Larkspur and Achillea. Okay. I didn't realise I got both in here. So whoa, my compost bag is blowing away. The only sort of bed I've got free is this bed at the back that was supposed to be the perennial bed, but half of the perennials died. And it needed mulching, hence why I've not planted into it, because the soil's not very good. But I've just used a bag of compost that we had in the shed and spread it over this section nice and thickly, and then I'll plant into this the few bits I've got here. Obviously the rest of the bed still needs mulching, still needs work, it's not doing so hot, but I've not got the compost and I've not got the means to buy compost at the minute, so we're working with what we've got. So yes, I'm going to plant just the bits I've got left in this tray out here. I think technically Achillea are perennial anyway. I might put the Larkspur somewhere different, to be fair. I might put them in the other bed, but I'm definitely going to put the Achillea in here, so I'll get on with that. The ground under here is just so dry and gross, but not much I can do about it. I've just got to get on with it, so that's what we'll do. So this is my haul. There's a lot of stuff. You see me do the carrots, you see me do the potatoes. I also have a few bits of like calabrese, broccoli that was starting to bolt, a little cauliflower that was starting to bolt, absolutely ginormous beetroots, of course, loads of cucumbers. I've got cucumbers honestly coming out my ears. I need to make some gherkins today. I'll do that when I go home, that's nice and quick. Of course I've got courgette, I've got 3 in the fridge. What's 2 more? And then absolutely humongous kohlrabi, which is vastly becoming one of my favourite vegetables actually. Oh, cornflower, hello. Yeah, huge. You could do some real damage with that. Let's pop that back in there. Loads of stuff. And I've got some cornflowers because Florist Julie told me it'd be a good idea to start drying these because they keep their colour really well when they're dried. So even if they finish before the wedding, like finish flowering before the wedding, I'm trying to keep on top of deadheading, but you know, the weather is the weather and the plants are the plants and they're going to do their own thing. I've been trying to keep on top of deadheading to keep them in flower, but in case they finish flowering, I'm going to dry a bunch and then hopefully we can still have them in like buttonholes or corsages or whatever. Even if they finish flowering. So I've got a bunch of them. I'm just going to hang them in my greenhouse or my shed upside down like that, and they should dry really well, supposedly. I've never done it before. And that is my haul from today. It's been a very productive day. I've been here way too long, so much longer than I said I would be, but things needed doing, things needed planting. We needed to take a bunch of stuff home. I've just realised I've not taken any beans home. I'm going to go and get them in a moment because they're ready. But yeah, thank you for watching today. I know it's been a bit of a mishmash flower related vlog, but I thought I'd update you on how the wedding flowers are going. In my next video, I promise I will show you the flowers. They're mostly the same as when I showed them in the tour, so I'll link that video here. But yeah, the wedding flowers are okay. I'll do a more in-depth tour when more things start flowering, hopefully. But they're going okay. I think that's mostly everything planted now. Everything's in the ground, or at home, or in buckets. And so now we wait. 2 months, 8 weeks seems like a really long time, and then also not long at all. So I suppose it's just we all cross our fingers and we hope and pray for the best for the flowers. If you could all pray for me or cross your fingers, or I don't know, send good vibes out into the ether for my wedding flowers, I would be very grateful. And yeah, I must remember that I also love growing veg, and I've forgotten that this year. Like the joy I got from harvesting these carrots cannot be underestimated. Right, I'm gonna go home. Oh, did I also say I got some cucamelons and some raspberries? Got some raspberries from my dad's plot and some cucamelons, which I'm gonna have with a gin. Lovely. So I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna have a drink, I'm gonna have a lovely Sunday dinner, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely week. Let me know what you're getting up to. Keep all your fingers and toes crossed for my wedding flowers, please. I would be very grateful. I will be keeping mine firmly crossed. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Love you all. Bye. I finally got my cucamelons, guys. I finally got them. Whether I like the taste of them, different story, but I finally grew some. Was it worth it? I don't know.